who literally have
You're
become the
supposed to
villain.
love it because he's Kevin Smith. Well, you know what? I don't even care for you, Kevin Smith, before this. So to me, I have no dog in this fight, whether you're pissed or not. The only thing I cared about was He-Man and it being a good show. And it isn't. Objectively, it isn't. Take out you being an asshole to us on top of it. It's objectively not a good show.
If I had seen this as a He-Man fan coming into it without any prior knowledge or any of the drama or any of that, I would have been fucking crushed. I would have been like, what the hell? I waited 2 or 3 years for this show, and I was ready. I would have bought the action figures. I would have been there, and as soon as it dropped, I would have watched it, and I'd be like, what the fuck did I just...
So that was Neon and Geeky Sparkles from the YouTube channel Clownfish TV. If you like pop culture, if you like comic books, reviewing movies, anything that is medieval fantasy, sci-fi, superheroes, then watch them. That's what they cover on their channel. Now they have well over 200,000 subscribers, so I'm very envious of them, and I'm just like excited that I'm gonna hit 300 soon. It looks like maybe within the next few weeks I might actually be there. But please share my channel so that I can get the word out about all this stuff that I talk about. And, leave comments below. Let me know what you want me to do with this channel. It's fine. I have no problem reviewing articles and videos that people leave in the comment section. I've done that many times. There's one that I did not review. One video that a man said, hey, review this. And I was like, oh, yeah, you know what? I already did that. And I left him a link to that. So thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate all of the support that you give me. Be sure to watch the video to the very end. That helps the algorithm. So here we have this article this is the comic book review. Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe audience rating is being review bombed. Masters of the Universe Revelation, the new Netflix series from Kevin Smith, is being review bombed by angry fans. So when this article was written, it had a 43 by the fans and a 97 by the critics. It's less than that now. It's a 32 by the fans and a 94 by the critics, because it's just not a show that people are going to like. But let's go on through this article and see what they have to say here. So this just kind of talks about some of the stuff I've already mentioned. The thing is this was a series a long time coming, right? Long time coming. Every 20 years we have to have a new He-Man series, and that's fine. But I'm going to talk about what I think the fans want, and this is just... Let's take a look at these. First, let's take a look at some of these complaints. Bland as bland can come. It brought nothing new but insults and character destruction. It failed to glue me to my seat and never got close to hold me near the edge of it either. Everything and more of what has been criticized about this failure can be clearly seen in this a hard pass. One user wrote, if I could give less than half a star, I would. Also, why are He-Man's nipples so close to his armpits? And did they Sailor Moon his transformation? For a second, I thought I was going to see his sword. It's He-Man without He-Man, and has plenty of estrogen-filled fight scenes. Go women, another user added. It might as well be She-Ra. Congrats, K. Smith, for essing on a great show. Maybe you should go back to being Silent Bob. Insert middle finger. This was announced in 2019. It's supposed to be a follow-up cartoon. Narratively, our show is set up as a next episode in the legacy of the 80s animated series that aired from 1983 to 1985. Smith said in May, this is a continuation of that story. We are playing with the original mythology and characters and revisiting and digging deeper into some of the unresolved storylines. Oh, and by the way, 1983 to 1985, shout out to Rich Ahrens and Tom Tanaradowitz, two animators that I worked with when I first got into the animation industry and who worked on this show in the 1980s. Thank you for making my childhood a little bit brighter. It's pretty miserable as it was. There's plenty of other complaints I've seen. People are complaining about this left and right, about how this show is garbage. Now, if you want to... This guy right here has a legitimate complaint. You want to make this stuff woke, that is 100% immoral, it is destructive, and it is corruption, and it's very coarse. It's a rot on society. Can't make things woke. You gotta stop with the wokeness. He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, is a boys' power fantasy. That's what it is. Boys want to be He-Man. All little boys are little scrawny boys who run around wishing they had more power, and then there's this magic sword they can grab and become this big, powerful man. That is what the show is about. That is who it is for. And you want to change that. You want to make it about, oh, women, look, go girls, women power, woohoo. Women already have all the power, one, and it's fine to make women power stuff, but don't call it He-Man. That's the legitimate complaint that I'm seeing. A lot of these people are legitimately complaining that this is not the He-Man show. It is the Teela show, which is fine if you want to have a Teela show. If you want to explore that character farther, I have nothing against Teela, but call it the Teela show. You know, Masters of the Universe spin-off Teela. Okay, that's fine. No problem. But what did you expected this actually be good? I think that these fans, they're just, like every 20 years we get this new He-Man stuff, and they're just waiting for it to actually be good, to be like an adult action adventure. We see this with Masters of the Universe. This is Rotten Tomatoes. I'm just going to look up Masters of the Universe, see if I can get Masters of the Universe. You might have to go onto IMDb to get the original series. Oh, look, here's the movie. Came out in 1987. 13! Audience score 40. This movie was terrible. I watched it when I was a kid. I watched every single episode of the He-Man show more than once. I watched every single episode of She-Ra. I liked both of those series when I was a child. I look at them now and I'm like, God, this is terrible. This is like the worst. What the hell is this? This movie, I have not watched it in decades. I'm sure it's awful. The last time I watched it, I was like, yeah, this isn't that good. I liked it when I was a little bit younger. And because last time I watched it, I was probably a teenager or something. I was like, this isn't as good as I remember it being when I was a kid. I'm going to pass. But the main thing with this is they bring the characters to Earth in this movie. Like, why don't you have like a really cool adventure on Eternia? That would be awesome. And then they also don't use any of Skeletor's henchmen in the movie. They make up completely new henchmen to have in the movie. I think Beastman was in the movie. There was a Beast-like character. I don't know if he was Beastman, but there was a character that looked like him. Triclops would have been hard to do at the time with his headgear. They would have to do some sort of different headgear thing. They could have done Merman. Trapjaw would have been easy to do, and they should have done Trapjaw. He's the coolest, actually. Trapjaw's so awesome. Maybe they could have done Whiplash. Maybe. He would have been kind of difficult. They didn't have any of those characters in it. They didn't have Orko in there. Now, Orko they didn't have in the show because he would have been just too expensive to do with the technology at the time. But what I think they should have done is just put Orko's costume on a child and had Orko walk. Or maybe not a child, but a midget. And had Orko walk around. He didn't have to fly. That was the thing that was holding him back. It's like, we can't do a flying character. But think about that Orko, this little guy running around casting spells and making a fool out of himself. They put in some other little guy who was like the key master or something, because they had this weird interdimensional, it was like a time dilation and dimension traveling key thing that they put in the show, which is fine. That's fine. But then they use that to go to Earth, and it's like, no, I mean, maybe have it, go to a different part of Eternia or through time, okay. But they put Man-at-Arms and Teela in there. Oh, shocking! They actually put a girl in the show. They had Courtney Cox in the show. She played the one of the Earth characters. But they weren't the same character in the movie that they were in the TV show. Teela wears white and brown in the TV show. She was wearing gray. So was Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms was wearing gray. He wears green and orange or green and brown in the TV show. They changed their costumes. It was just a mess what they did with this show. The movie was just terrible. Dolph Lundgren, fine as He-Man. I would like to see somebody that is more muscular, more muscle-bound than him, because He-Man is like seriously muscle-bound. But Dolph, he's a big muscly guy, so it makes sense to have him be He-Man. And then they messed up the movie. It was terrible. What about there's Revelations? Okay, so here we go. Here's the original. It's got a 100 on the tomato meter. This show was terrible. It's got an 83 on the audience score. Oh, this show is so bad. If you've never seen this show, it's awful. It's fine for kids. Like when I was a kid, I thought it was great. I watch it now and I'm like, oh God, what was I? How could I think this was cool? It was so bad. I love the toys. I had like dozens of the action figures. I had some of the play sets. I gave them all away. I should have kept them because they would be worth so much money right now. But I gave them all away to a friend's child. Ugh, big mistake on my part. I had dozens of them. I had Hordak stuff. I had She-Ra stuff. I had the Snake Man, and I had He-Man and all that stuff. Ugh, big mistake on my part. Orko came with a little magic trick, by the way. The toy did. But yeah, this show is terrible. People think it's an 83. It's not. It's not an 83. This one right here was kind of good. It was good. It was good. The He-Man and the Masters of the Universe that came out in 2002. This one's good. It's made for kids, so it does get a little stupid sometimes. But yeah, the animation in it, the style, the design of the characters, amazing. And then the storylines are pretty good. They make sense for the most part. They get into some stupid stuff sometimes, but for the most part, everything is really good and makes sense. So I recommend watching this one. You can probably find it on Netflix, or you can get the DVDs. The DVDs are expensive. You want to get, it's like $200 or something. There's only 2 seasons. But there was another series, and Clownfish TV never mentions this series, so it makes me think they're not really true fans. There was The New Adventures of He-Man. The New Adventures of He-Man. Let's type in here. The New Adventures of He-Man. Here it is. Images. This is it. He-Man and Skeletor are somehow transformed into the distant future, and then they have adventures. And I watched one episode, and it was the most horrible thing I have ever seen in my entire life. And I vowed I would never watch another one of the episodes in the series. It was so bad. It seriously just, I found it on Crunchyroll or something. I don't know where I found it. But I could have watched all of them, but I was like, no, I'm not going to watch any of this. This is terrible after I watched that first one. Skeletor looks just so, his character design is just really super bad. Here he is right here. This is him in the middle. That's Skeletor. Really intimidating looking, really scary looking, isn't he? You know, it's probably got a review on IMDb. I don't know about Rotten Tomatoes. But this whole thing about changing these series and making them into what you want them to be in modern times. She-Ra, I heard that the new one, the She-Ra Princess of Power, was terrible. I heard it was definitely woke, totally woke, so I'm not going to watch it. Just like I don't watch woke stuff if I can help it, which is pretty easy to turn something off, right? The thing is, all of these series have been awful. All of them, except for the one from 2002, the Masters of the Universe from 2002, was good. Every other thing for Masters of the Universe has been just god awful. The toys were good, but none of the videos, the comic books. There's some really good comic books out there for Masters of the Universe. I've read them. I own them. There's some really good ones. But the TV shows, the movie, they're making another movie too. I think it's going to come out next year. They're terrible. Why would you think this was going to be any better? This TV show is going to be terrible. Even if it isn't woke, it was going to be terrible. It was going to be a huge disappointment to everyone because it's Masters of the Universe. People don't take this seriously. I don't know why, but they don't. And as far as Kevin Smith is concerned, I mean, what has he done that's been any good? People love Clerks. They rave about it. That's amazing. They made a sequel to it. They made a TV show out of it. I watched one episode of it, and I was like, this is pretty lame and pointless. I'm not going to continue watching it. I watched Clerks. I'm like, I don't get it. What's so amazing about it? I watched Clerks 2. I'm like, I still don't get it. What's so amazing about it? There's going to be a Clerks 3 now. And then there's Mallrats. Mallrats is, oh God, Mallrats is terrible. People love Mallrats too. I'm like, this is not good. Kevin Smith does not do good work. Why do people think that he does? Why do people think he's like this revolutionary, this visionary? He's got all these ideas and amazing. No, he doesn't. He's bland, mundane, boring Hollywood stuff. He got lucky. You want to have really good stories, you got to look for people like me who are passionate about stuff, who are really passionate about something. You truly like not in it for the money. That's who you got to find to do these things. I have so much passion about my ideas and about these stories. Like Masters of the Universe was one of my favorite toys when I was a kid. One of my favorite toys. In the top 5 for sure. G.I. Joe was my most favorite. Then probably Legos. And then I'm not sure which one is next. But I would play He-Man. It wouldn't be He-Man necessarily. A lot of times I did play He-Man. But I would mix my Masters of the Universe figures with my Playmobil figures, and I would have like a whole new adventure. Like the Playmobil guys were fighting the Giants. That's what I did a lot. All these different scenarios I would get them into. I would play G.I. Joe as if it was post-apocalyptic G.I. Joe. Or Alien World G.I. Joe. The Cobra stuff. Almost all of it looks like it's out of a sci-fi movie. Right? So like it's easy to get into modifying these things so that it's not what the toy was intended to be. I can just use my imagination, go, okay, we're on an alien world now, and we're being attacked by aliens. Because so many of these things are supposed to be set on Earth, all of a sudden they look like alien stuff. And that, I think, speaks to true passion. Kevin Smith doesn't have that. What is unique about Clerks? It was shot in black and white. They had a girl have sex with a dead man accidentally. Oh, shocking and horrifying. Thank you for that nightmare. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what else can I say about this? I'll watch the show just to see how good it is, I think. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be woke and awful because of that. But as far as expecting it to be any good, no, it's Masters of the Universe. The movie next year is probably going to be terrible. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I do appreciate it. I'm still very busy. I'm even going to be busy next month. If you're still watching this next month, I've got a full schedule too with my day job. So hopefully I can get some videos out, but I don't know. Things are just really busy right now, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that may be.